everyone, and welcome to this episode of Parade's Concierge Desk. We here at Parade specialise in delivering class-defining event concierge services, and our North Star is to offer a frictionless experience for our clients and guests. Our obsession is guest experience, and we're fascinated by how other businesses and brands use experience to build connections with their clients and customers. Concierge Desk is our opportunity for us to speak with others that feel about experience the same way we do and share some thoughts with our network. Through the series, we have conversations with people who specialize in guest experience, visitor experience, customer experience, any type of experience, and we ask them to give us insights about how and why its use is important. So today I am delighted to be joined by Fergus Adamson. He's managing director of the fabulous Sharky George, a global creative events company delivering unforgettable experiences for both children and adults. Fergus has been with the business for 14 years, helping to shape the company into one of the leaders in high-end experiential events. He has a passion for play and a sharp eye for detail, and Sharky and George have delivered everything from cross-continent treasure hunts and luxury yacht quests to large-scale immersive experiences for corporate and private clients. Fergus, thank you so much for joining me today. Very excited to have a chat with you.
Thank you for having me. Fantastic.
As always, we ask our guests to start just kind of telling us a little bit about themselves and about the business. I'm sure those two are quite deeply intertwined, but
Yes, no, especially as I've been here for rather a long time now. So it's it's been 14 years at Sharky and George, and for part of that time I've been managing director, which has been an amazing experience. And I suppose, I think we've evolved massively from when I started. We were a traditional sort of children's events organizer, children's parties, when I joined, and we did incredible children's parties, and we still do to this day as well. So we haven't lost that part of the business. But what we've steadily evolved into is seeing that adults also want a part of this. They want to experience these incredible events as well, and not just sort of those traditional sort of sit down sort of stuffy events, but actually want to have an adventure themselves. So that's what we're sort of moving towards, and what I've been really enjoying over the last few years.
And how did you get into Sharky and George? What was your origin story?
Well, I mean, I did politics at university. Does that lend itself to client experience? I don't know. So I came down and knowing that I didn't want to do politics, and I got an awful sales job that I was cold calling for a few months, and really didn't enjoy that. So knew that wasn't the path. And then I saw Sharky and George pop up on it was actually Facebook back in the day, and they were looking for people. And I arrived at the interview and I was wearing a shirt and tie and sort of looking very smart. And then George and Charlie, the founders, turned up in shorts and t-shirts, and I realised, I think this is my kind of place.
And what was your journey through the business? So you started off at that interview. What were you interviewing for?
Yeah, it was a simple events planner role. So I was organising sort of the majority of the events, and we were doing up to sort of between 15, 30 events a weekend at that point. So mainly just traditional children's parties. And so I was the sort of head organizer, and I've always had a bit of a meticulous eye for detail, and organizational brain, as well as a kind of creative side of it as well. So that's how I kind of developed my role, and then through the years gained more and more responsibility, and then more and more people arrived, and we've grown up to a team of now sort of 28 in the office. So it's basically been a gradual sort of evolving over the years, but it means that I've kind of seen the company grow and do lots of really exciting and fun things over the years, and sort of being able to sort of give my experience to those underneath me now.
Amazing. And so this is all about guest experience, and depending on who we're speaking to, sometimes it's member experience, sometimes it's customer experience, sometimes it's visitor experience. Sharky and George is all about the experience, but from a kind of building the business, maintaining the business, building the reputation of the business, how do you define guest experience at Sharky and George? And I guess who are the the experienced stakeholders in the business? Who are you focusing on ensuring has an amazing experience so you can continue to build the business and the reputation?
Yeah, so guest experience is, the key. It's our key component. It's what sort of builds our whole event, because that's exactly what we focus on from start to finish. Whenever we get a brief, that's what we're known for, is building this guest experience. And I suppose from the transition from children's events to adults events, I think it was clear when we moved into that arena, adults seem to be missing out on this incredible sort of wealth of play that we could give them, and we really sort of believe in this transformational power of play. And I suppose it's giving each guest at that event an experience that is memorable, that they can talk about afterwards with their friends, and they really gain something from it. So it's not just they've been to as I say, a stuffy dinner or something like that, but they've opened up a lockbox, or they've found they've opened up some inhibitions that they haven't used in a long time. So perhaps they may have acted at school but not acted for 15 years, and we've sort of built that open to them. So yeah, I suppose our whole mantra is all about the client experience from start to finish. And I think because we care so much and we care so deeply about that, I think that comes through in the events that we deliver.
And that experience that the guests on site have, how do you build that kind of into, because you've always got someone that you're liaising with, whether that's the mother of a child, or when it's a kids party, or whether it's a private client for a kind of adult party, or the corporate event person, or indeed the agency. Yes. We've been lucky enough to work together on projects. And by the way, it's always a very joyful experience. So is there a kind of strategy for that, for ensuring that the kind of the customer experience, I guess, is as enjoyable as the guest experience is going to be, or does that fall naturally just because of the environment that you're working in?
Well, I think you're right. I think the sort of the communication aspect before the event is vitally important. And if we can talk directly to the client, then that's fantastic. If it's a private event, for instance, and they know exactly what they want, that's obviously incredibly useful. If it's through an agency, in fact, an example of this, we recently did an event in Rome, and we were doing it through another events company. And they were a little bit skeptical about sort of what we could deliver. I think we were coming in all guns blazing with lots of activities and challenges, and they were worried it wouldn't feel luxury enough. And I think we eventually got them on our side and got them to trust us, and we delivered this incredible treasure hunt in Rome with 6 different routes and doing weird and wonderful things for these truly sophisticated clients. And it goes to show that this sort of power of play is not refined. It can be for anyone, even the most sophisticated, and people who appear like they might not want to engage in that kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's having that sort of communication beforehand with the clients, it's great when clients come to us with ideas, because we love that toing and froing, because I think that's when you get the best ideas, when you're sort of spitballing ideas. I know when we've worked together with you in the past, you always have lots of brilliant ideas to bring to the table as well. So it's not just, we don't have the answers to everything, and it's great to have like many different people at the table sort of offering those things.
And is that an environment that you kind of create during in the overall kind of the business? So when you're coming up with ideas internally, do you work very collaboratively with the rest of the team?
Absolutely, yeah. We have a creative team, but then we also have brainstorming sessions. In fact, we've just been trying to hone our creative process recently, because we want to just make sure that we are delivering as much as we possibly can for every single client. So a lot of event planners come in and they have a very meticulous brain and organized brain. We try and look for employees who also have that creative side to their personalities. So they have that as well. But I think if you're trying to work out all of these possibilities yourself, you're not going to get the best possible experience. So we always try and, especially for the larger ones, which take it and require a little bit more thought, we always have these brainstorming sessions where we come together and talk about them.
I love what you said about you know, that play is for everyone, no matter how sophisticated the audience may seem, or I guess think they are. Everyone wants to come back to that play, but that has to then feel natural for them, I suppose, and to a degree authentic for them. So that when it's kids, I suppose there are also nuances of what the kids are going to want to do, but it's probably easier, dare I
Oh,
say.
much easier. Yeah, I mean, children are used to doing these kind of things in their everyday lives. They're used to meeting new people, playing games, running around the playground. It's only as adults is that when we lose these kind of abilities, or we just I don't think we do completely lose them, but we just have we get a little bit serious, which I mean, why should we? And yeah, I think it's really important that we sort of regain these experiences. And I think I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but I think it's where things are going is to have these kind of amazing experiences together.
And do you think we become more serious because we gain inhibition?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it. I think um, you sort of you get a proper job after university and you feel like you need to act a certain way or act grown up in the office using business jargon. And yeah, I think when we go and do events for these big sort of corporate firms, it takes a few minutes to sort of break them down. Then as soon as they get stuck in, I mean, they are just completely immersed in sort of their sort of childhood state, which is fantastic. And I think that's what we're really good at. We have a brilliant team of guys and girls who actually they tend to be actors actually, who run our events with us, and they are just brilliant at bringing people out of their shells and making people do something that perhaps they wouldn't be comfortable doing if they just sort of come straight from their desk. But because we've kind of warmed them up, they're really keen to do it.
And that transition from doing the kind of easy to run kids parties to adults, how did that come about?
It was basically at a few children's events. We were getting asked by adults, "Hey, look, these children's events you're running are incredible, and you're doing some amazing things here. I've got a sort of a corporate firm who I need to kind of reinvigorate. Can you come and do that for us, or can you come and do that for my 40th? What you've pretty much just done for those children." And so it started from there quite gradually. So we did sort of two or three every couple of months or whatever. And then suddenly we decided that we were getting so many of these inquiries that we'd slightly pivot, so that it would be a sort of a really important part of our business. And it's been amazing to see that. And I think we've luckily enough, this has coincided with a real drive in the world for these kind of events, to get together and be like have a community. I mean, post COVID especially, people want to be together and have this sort of communal experience. So yeah, I think it's been amazing, and to see us sort of move across to the adult sphere.
And you mentioned kind of post COVID. So when did that shift start I guess there's a progression, right? So kids parties and then the parents
Mhm.
say,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
we want a piece of this. But making that a leap from the
yeah.
parents of kids who've seen it and kind of are open to it and really fun
Yeah, and they're
to,
probably a little bit skeptical about, oh, they can deliver it for children, but can they actually deliver it for adults? I mean, that's
yeah.
because there's that slight sort of not snobbishness, I wouldn't say, but there's that slight skepticism whether they're just a children's party planner, which we've been trying to kind of lose over the years. But I think, yeah, I mean, COVID was a big stage of that. So we probably started doing these kind of events in 2015, 2016 or so, and then did more and more. And then we started getting involved in a huge overnight treasure hunt called Midnight Madness, which was a very kind of puzzle-based adventure from 8 o'clock in the evening until 7 o'clock the next day, with incredible puzzles and incredible locations around London for corporate firms. So we got involved in that, and then COVID hit, and then most of our inquiries during COVID were for corporate firms who wanted an online experience. So so I mean, my COVID was taken up, um, just delivering events, because we got right, I mean, as everyone did, got right down to these skeleton crews. So I was delivering quiz shows, murder mysteries online. We were doing all these amazing things. I think people also saw from that. We did all of Goldman Sachs. We did all of their graduate intern inductions across the world. So we had to get up at 4 a.m. to deliver to Asia, doing these incredible sort of like mini adventure races, we called them, to get them talking together and sort of meeting in a quite a strange time. So yeah, I mean, it sort of grew from there, and then post-COVID, it's really sort of flown. And yeah, I would say in terms of our in terms of our revenue now, it's probably over 60% adults and yeah, probably 40% children.
And has that online stuff continued, or is it now just all IRL?
It's pretty much all out. We sometimes get the odd inquiry for I did a charity event with a gladiator recently. Sometimes I do like to get involved myself as well. And
As a gladiator.
If there's a gladiator there, I'm going to get involved. But you know, it's pretty much all in real life at the moment, because I think that's, again, I think you really create those communal experiences when you are together in real life. So it's much better when you're in real life.
And I guess that's a real kind of, for us, that's a really important point, is that communal experience, and the experiences that you curate are different to the experiences we curate, and sometimes we come together and work together. But do you find that the reason that corporates are coming to you for these activations is that they're trying to build connections between people? Is it for people who already have a connection? Is it for kind of them to build internal relationships, kind of team building, or is it more kind of external, building relationships with clients? All of the above.
Well, I mean, there are so many stats to show how bringing your team together in a corporate atmosphere sort of makes them more productive, more efficient, and also sort of creates a much better work environment. So that's the main reason why the corporates want to do it. And I suppose, yeah, we're evangelizing about that, and we think, when they do come together and experience these things, is when they can be at their best, basically. And yeah, so even if it's just for the C-suite of an organization, or potentially the whole organization altogether, bring people together as you do as well, I think is definitely the most important feature.
And you mentioned the activation in Rome, which was, what was that for, an internal group of people? Was that external?
So strangely, that was actually for a private event. So it was for a birthday party. 120 of his friends running around Rome doing these incredible things. But a sort of similar corporate event that we've done last year was for a sort of corporate finance firm who wanted to involve a charitable aspect. So all of the teams had to raise lots of money, and we created a kind of surprise challenge for them from their office in London to a surprise location, which happened to be OC Island in Essex. We built all these challenges, and they had to go and pick up a camper van per team, drive their camper van to various locations around Essex. OC Island's just off the estuary in Essex, and do lots of challenges en route with our team, sort of aiding all of these kind of different things, whether it would be a inflatable obstacle course, or getting a photo with a local man in uniform, or something like that. And then when they arrived at OC Island, they had a beautiful luxury experience there, but also had to do like overnight challenges as well, because it was a 24-hour and things. They might have to do a break the safe at 3 a.m. with a few of the team, or a ultimate sort of UV frisbee at 5 a.m, and then sunrise yoga, and finishing off with this mega triathlon with swimming, cycling, running. So yeah, that was a really fun one. And I mean, it goes to show we actually got incredible feedback from that one, from the CEO, who said he was a little bit anxious about this kind of event and doing this kind of thing, and yeah, and sent us a letter basically saying that this was the best thing he ever did for his employees. So receiving that kind of feedback was amazing.
Yeah, that shared experience, building a
Yeah,
connection, taking
exactly.
people out of their comfort zone. So,
Yeah, and also just yeah, I mean the shared experience. I mean, often in an office environment, especially if you're I mean, if you've got a slightly tense relationship with Steve from accounts, for instance, and as soon as you take that out of the workplace and you're in this environment where you're playing together, you're doing a challenge, you're working on something different. You didn't realize that Steve was actually really good at doing puzzles, and he's like really winning stuff for our team. Those relationships really change, and are made so much better. So yeah, that's why it's so valuable for these guys.
amazing. So that's the kind of that's the change that's developed over the last 10 years or so.
Mhm. Yeah.
What is the next? I don't think we look 10 years into the future. I'm not sure at the moment we can look 10 weeks into the future. But where do you think the future of this kind of experience goes? What do you see in your
Mm.
crystal ball?
Well, I mean, I think human connection is going to become even more important. And yeah, I mean, obviously AI might become a feature of all of our might become a feature of our events, and might be and technology might be used in lots of ways, but actually getting people together is only, I mean, I think it goes to show that there's lots of proof that all of these experiential sort of concerts and gigs and things are becoming more popular. And I think this kind of the things that we organize also will become ever more popular, hopefully. And I think, yeah, building that human connection and making sure that people do, yeah, get out of their comfort zone, off from their computer, and playing it together is really our mantra.
And do you think that that will? So currently, you've kind of got the private events and you've got the corporate gigs.
Mhm.
Do you think that there is a future where clienteling will take on a kind of more immersive form?
And what do you mean by clienteling?
Whereby a brand that wants to
Yes,
get closer to their clients who now might invite them to an experience of some description, which is singing to their
yes,
passion points. So, but might that become more
absolutely.
immersive?
And we've done quite a lot with brands actually to um and whether their hidden thing is to try and sort of sell their product more, I'm sure it is. But we've done some amazing things because we've got so many brilliant actors who work for us who've got such a wealth of kind of immersive experiences. Um, we've often been asked to kind of come and deliver for something, but white label for someone else's brand, and whether that be a kind of a Vox Pop thing on the high street or doing something else. But it's yeah, I certainly think that will become ever more popular as as brands really want to communicate with their sort of stakeholders.
And do you see that there are other ways that Sharky and George will kind of expand on this experience in the future? Have you got your eye on anything in particular?
Um, well, we do a lot of events sort of globally. We don't do that many events in the States, so we'd love to get out there and do sort of from a geographical point of view. We'd love to do some more kind of across the world, and bigger, better, higher budget, sort of incredible sort of experiences. That would be the dream, really. And I suppose, yeah, I mean, I think we've also delved in a little bit sort of consultancy about how teams and corporate firms bring in sort of the power of play to their workspace without having us there the whole time. So sort of making sure it's part of their everyday processes, and their yeah and their kind of their missions basically, because I think that will become, especially, I mean, I know there's still quite a lot of working from home going on, so people aren't always together. So I think that will become ever more important in the future as well.
And is that something that's true of the culture at Sharky and George? Do you bring that play into the everyday life?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've been to our office yet, and we've got an incredible tree house. We've got yeah, we've definitely got a very sort of communal atmosphere in the office. I mean, we've got all of the kind of the table tennis tables and the fun, but we also just, yeah, I mean, I mean, just yesterday afternoon, I was in my office and there was a Nerf gun fight happening just outside my office. And sometimes I was if I'm in a particular sort of meeting or something, I will poke my head out and say, is this what we're doing now? But actually, I mean, they're right. I mean, they're just bringing the power of play to the office. So I mean, I really shouldn't. I should just let them get on with it. Actually, but no, it's a very fun atmosphere. And the great thing about Sharky and George is there's no event that's the same. Like all of the briefs that we get are very, very different. So there's a lot of kind of creativity and communal working and brainstorming, and we try and be in the office as much as possible. Our kind of thing is for everyone to be in at least 4 days a week, and I think that makes a big difference, because I don't think those ideas can spark without those human interactions that you need.
Harder to do it in 2 dimensions, which is the same with everything, right? With delivering these experiences as well as as collaborating and building human connections possible, but the human interaction, the IRL is so important.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fergus, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. This is, I know, exciting. This month marks Parade's 3rd anniversary, so we are thinking about celebrations in general. So I wanted to ask you what are your top 3 suggestions for making a fantastic party?
And remind me, how many are in your team at the moment?
We've got 8 of us in the team.
8 of us, fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I particularly love a treasure hunt. So I would, I mean, obviously always depending a little bit on budget, but I would love to take you guys to a surprise city, and do a really immersive treasure hunt around that city. And it might be sort of, I think you'd have various different experiences and challenges hidden within that city that you'd have to go to. We'd create a beautiful sort of map of the city, and you'd have to work out sort of locations and puzzles from that map. But then when you got to each of the locations, there would be an amazing experience. So it might be a lovely wine tasting, but there's a slight challenge aspect too. It might be a break the safe thing. It might be some photo and video challenges, and then finishing off with a lovely dinner, something overlooking the city. That would be a really, really fun one. I'm not surprised I just said that one, because we're organising one in Zurich at the moment. Oh.
We'll get our passports ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be something that elaborate. I mean, we've done, we do kind of a lot of kind of corporate sports days, because a lot of people want sort of a corporate sort of style sports day, and we always try and add sort of like slightly different elements into that. So it's not just a kind of traditional sports. You might be doing a space hopper relay or an art challenge or something else alongside that, alongside the more sort of physical sporting ventures. So that would be a really cool one. Another one to kind of get you out of your comfort zone is a kind of You Me Bum Bum Train secret cinema style immersive experience for you all, where each of you would be taken out of your comfort zone and have to go into a room that you have no idea what to encounter in there. And so it might be a game show that you have to lead, or it might be you walking into a movie scene and you have to direct it, or be actors as part of it, or be part of sort of you go in, it's Great British Bake Off, and you're having to bake a cake in front of everyone, but on camera. So yeah, that would be a sort of second, and that one would really take you out of your comfort zone, I'd say. So it would be a very fun one.
Amazing. I guess we need to up our game. So the bottle of warm Prosecco in the office at 5 o'clock on Thursday isn't going to cut it.
We were in a skyscraper doing an event recently, and they came to us. We want something kind of a little bit off the wall, and we came up with a Where's Wally idea, where basically it was a beautiful skyscraper with windows all around it, and there was one challenge, which was the first team to find Where's Wally running around on the street outside.
Oh, amazing.
It was in the winter, so he had a beacon as well, and
that's brilliant.
I just thought our poor team member who had to run around, and everyone was looking at him like, what is this guy doing? Is he off his trolley? So yeah, that was a really fun challenge. Very sort of, sometimes it's the kind of the simple ideas or the ideas from your childhood that you haven't thought about for ages that actually work really well.
Fantastic. Well, that's also a whole other topic, that nostalgia topic, which we're seeing so much of at the moment. But Fergus, amazing. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. And I think we'll probably continue this many times over.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for bringing your creativity to everything that we do together as well.
Oh, thanks so much.